Hi everybody, my name is Jerry and I'm going to talk to you about music and memory and autobiographical songs. Why do certain songs become part of our lives? People identify themselves through music, and each person has an autobiographical soundtrack through emotional memories that correspond to certain songs. And people create emotional memories through different points and different aspects in their life, and they're completely unaware of them in the moment. Music can elicit emotions in people and create a sense of nostalgia. And due to emotional memories formed through music, people create these autobiographical memories that correspond to certain songs. First, we're going to look at how emotional memories are created while we're immersed in our feelings during the most significant moments of our lives. Music is important to most lives, and many events in one's life correspond to music. Weddings, dances during formative years, and funerals all employ music. These events all correspond with emotional memories. How is it that the song you danced to at your senior prom can play on the radio and transport you back in time to the moment you heard it on the dance floor so many years ago? Music is closely tied to emotions, and emotions are an integral part of memories. Music and emotions combined can create the phenomenon of nostalgia. In this assessment, we'll look at how certain songs become part of our lives through the use of music, memory, and emotions. First, we're going to look at how emotional memories are created while we're immersed in our feelings during the significant moments of our life. Emotional influences play a part on evaluative and classical conditioning. Through these two forms of conditioning, we're going to see how our emotions influence our memories. Emotional influences come into play with evaluative conditioning. As explained in Music, Thought, and Feeling, Understanding the Psychology of Music by W.F. Thompson, it is explained that evaluative conditioning occurs when music that has been repeatedly associated with a specific emotional context may evoke the same emotional state as the unconditioned stimulus, inducing positive feelings, even in the absence of the emotional context or situation. Evaluative conditioning is then a change in preference or liking of something through association with a positive or negative stimulus. An example of this is how the song Happy Birthday can evoke happy, positive emotions when sung outside of a birthday setting. Another way emotions influence our memories is through classical conditioning. An example of this process in classical conditioning: a song as a conditioned stimulus is associated with an unconditioned stimulus or an emotional moment. Later, the conditioned stimulus can encourage the same emotional state experienced during the emotional moment. Much like Pavlov's dogs, the song has become the conditioned stimulus and now can create a conditioned response. As we can see, this conditioned response happens without our even being aware of it, and yet it has a powerful effect on our specific memories and emotional responses by way of emotional influence. Along with emotional memories comes the phenomenon of nostalgia, which is pivotal to the forming of music-related memories. Through the use of emotional associations and individual experiences, we form episodic memories that play a crucial role in our ability to experience nostalgia. Episodic memories are a person's unique memories of a specific event. We know that in order to form an episodic memory, the memory must have an emotional association. The emotion may be positive or negative. These intense emotional associations encourage the forming of episodic memories, and the retrieval of these memories contribute to feelings of nostalgia. Individual experiences are what create episodic memories. Without subjective feelings during a unique individual's experiences, one would not be able to form an episodic memory and would not be able to experience nostalgia. In Music Evoked Nostalgia, Affect, Memory, and Personality, Frederick Barrett states that the source of music-evoked nostalgic experiences are associations that people have formed between particular songs and events in their past. Research has shown that people experiencing a negative mood could be more likely to experience music-evoked nostalgia. Nostalgia is then generally experienced by people who are having a bittersweet recollection or a wistful moment about their past. So by listening to music, the sentimental longing for one's past may be enhanced. Now that we have an understanding of how emotional associations and individual experiences form episodic memories and help to create nostalgic experiences, we're able to add the last piece of the puzzle: autobiographical memories. Through self-identity, familiar music, and nostalgic experiences, people form autobiographical memories that relate to specific songs. This is a scene from the movie High Fidelity. We can see that Rob is reorganizing his record collection and that he's doing it in autobiographical order. Both characters determine that this is very comforting. Why is it comforting? Because music is fitting for autobiographical life events due to its emotional content and people's desire to identify with familiar music. Music is a core part of people's everyday life, and people tend to identify themselves with their favorite music, their favorite being the most familiar. Being familiar with a song is significant in the strength of nostalgic experience while listening to that particular song. With this said, we can see that familiar music that people identify with can elicit a nostalgic experience and help to create an autobiographical memory. In fact, according to characterization of music-evoked autobiographical memories, such nostalgic memories seem to be an important emotional byproduct of an experience with music. These memories are mostly related to persons and periods and are stronger for familiar than unfamiliar music. We can infer that the predominant reason that people are so involved in music is their desire to relive an event or emotionally significant part of their past. These nostalgic experiences with familiar music are a large part of one's self-identity, which feed each individual's autobiographical memories. People in all of their emotional moments form memories to familiar music that they have associated emotional personal meaning. The episodic memories that induce nostalgia in people's self-identity with particular familiar songs lead them to form autobiographical memories and individual soundtracks to their lives. Seeing how all of these aspects combine to create autobiographical memories, we're now able to understand how music is an integral part to each unique individual life. Your episodic memory and nostalgic experiences through your personal identity with your favorite music has created an autobiographical soundtrack to your life.